Hello everyone, welcome to Club Live here on Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. We are live on YouTube tonight, and this is take two for our Q&A special that was meant to happen last week, but unfortunately dad duties got in the way for me, and Ali's dog wasn't interested in coming on and doing the podcast with him, so we rescheduled it to this week. But we're always going to be on this week, but we'll move the Q&A to tonight. So get yourself, subscribe to the channel, get your questions in the live chat. This is all about you asking us the questions that you want to know, and we'll do our best to answer them. Keep them within reason. I say that all the time. Keep them within reason. That's all I will say. I am Scott Carney. Joining me tonight is Alistair Pearson. Ali, how are you?
My voice has returned, unlike it was in the previous podcast, which seems
I forgot about that.
absolutely ages ago. I think it was the Monday we did Club Deck Corner a way back last, whenever it was. But yeah, it was
nearly 2 weeks ago. Aye, but 2 weeks on Monday.
It was. So yeah, I was actually quite happy to have that international break. I felt for poor Scotia because obviously Scotland brought them up with a 1-0 away win and then brought them back crashing down with a 3-0 defeat at Hampden. So I did think about Scotia, but I was kind of glad. It gave me a week or so to recharge for Rangers. So I'm looking forward to Saturday night and a 5:30 kickoff with Rangers as well. I don't know the last time I had one of them.
No, I don't know. I can't remember. I always quite liked the idea. Friday night games, I'm always been a fan of. I was a right fan of Friday night games. I thought they were great. Anyway, sorry, there's one more guest to go. And wearing these suede shoes tonight is Ross. Ross, how are you, mate?
Good evening, gents. Good evening. It is lovely to be back. It feels like ages since we've been in the pod, and it is very, very good to be back. Obviously, I wasn't on for the Old Firm debacle. I know it was a while ago, but still, speak about it as much as you like, folks, because I'm still loving every single bit of it. But no, looking forward to tonight. It is potentially my first Q&A, so yeah, very much looking forward to it, gents. It should be a good laugh.
Yeah, well, 12 days on, mate, and they're still rattled by it. So I'm sure we'll cross that path. We'll go down that road again. I think that's for absolute sure. But yeah, so it's been a long. It has felt like a long couple of weeks, to be fair. I think with Rangers having the upturn that they did, and obviously going into it after an Old Firm victory, you're kind of not wanting the old international break. We've been too used to welcoming the international break. I think it's fair to say over this season. Anyway, we've been kind of desperate to get there and give ourselves a bit of time away from Rangers. But no, I think this one's felt rather long. But yeah, we're back at it, as Ali says, 5:30 tomorrow night. So yeah, just get your questions in, everybody, and we'll get going. The first one, Andy Mack has asked, Ross, done any more vids? We'll just say, watch this space, Ross. Is that the best thing to say, mate?
Correct. We shall. There's a few things in the works, that's for sure. There's a small, keep your eyes out for the end of April going to early May. There's a wee YouTube series coming. Just a few, I guess the Tuesday to the Friday that week. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But there's a few wee things in the works. Just I'll very much do the whole not saying too much, but the Barry Ferguson, if you will, and just keep the cards close to the chest. Watch this space. Yes, so some things coming very, very soon.
Yeah, very, very soon. Ali, you get any videos coming soon? Or is that just on your OnlyFans, mate? Do people need to sign up for that?
Christ, I could do any videos. I did wonder when Andy was asking that, is Ross doing more videos?
Ross is more talented than me and you put together, mate.
Aye, but I wondered where he was going with that. Is it to do with Rangers, or is it other videos that Ross has?
Well, who knows what Ross does in his spare time.
So, if anyone wants any videos from me, I'll try my best to get them out there. But I couldn't beat Ross with his editing on his YouTube channel. That is very good. So I'll leave Ross to the videos.
Yeah, absolutely. I think we should leave Ross to pretty much all of it, mate. I'm not going to lie. Andy, watch this space. There's one thing that's cracking, and I'm looking forward to it as well, very much so. Chris Duffer McLaren has asked, do you think this takeover from the 49ers is in to do with the board's recent statement? Ali, the statement, the battle between, ultimately is the kind of Union Bear section, if you like. I'm not saying solely them, but it is very much kind of, it looks like that on paper. It does distract from what's going on currently on the football pitch because we've had a kind of slight upturn, but there's handbags at 10 paces, but also the board have decided to replace the handbags with hammers and with very strong words. And I found myself, when everything was going on, kind of trying to see it from kind of both sides, and I don't want to be hypocritical with some stuff that happens, but ultimately now, no matter what, and this is the be-all and end-all of it all for me, it is UEFA that make these rules. They cannot be held accountable. You cannot take the UEFA on. There is nothing you can do about it. And if they decide that they're going to start punishing us and punishing fans and punishing innocent fans as well, quite simply, it just has to stop, because you're damaging the club.
Yeah, and they've said it previously, Rangers, before. They've warned the fans on certain things. I mean, we've already been punished for next season going to Hampden if we make it. And I do say if because of what happened this season. But the first semi-final, which will be the League Cup next year, we will not have potentially 500. Well, we won't have 500 fans. It would have been there. I know Celtic are taking their punishment when they play St Johnstone, which is not a punishment because St Johnstone won't be able to fill the ground. But we'll get a punishment then and possibly more. And then obviously in terms of UEFA, I agree, you can't take on UEFA. And UEFA basically said any more nonsense and they'll close that Copeland stand, which we don't want, because the home support at Ibrox, especially in Europe, is, if you want to say, the 12th man. It gets Rangers over the line now, time and time again. So, yeah, it was a very strong statement by the club, Carney, but it's, I mean, the politics behind the Union Bears and the club, I don't want to get into that because I don't know enough about it between the two of them. There seems to be a clash at the moment between the UB and the club, but what they're basically saying is any more nonsense in that stand, UB or anyone else, we will be punished as a club, and innocent fans will be punished. So, yeah, it was strong words by Rangers, and they usually don't really do that. So, yes, it was good to see that they had a strong message to the support.
It's always going to kind of split social media. I think it is always going to. A lot of people saying, "Nah, but they do this, so why can't we do it?" and all that. And I think that doesn't really stand up in court or anything for that matter. Just because somebody else does it doesn't mean it's okay for you. Go and do it. I think the statement from the club was met by from the UB as well, where they made a remark about "we demand." Again, I don't know what you stand to achieve with that, because the club just purely and simply will not do that. You're not going to hold the club to ransom, unfortunately. We are the lifeblood. We are the thing that makes Rangers so special is the fan base. There's absolutely no doubt about it. But you can't take the board on. You can't take the UEFA on. You've got to kind of pick your battles, and if anything, try and work together to create some form of middle ground. There must be somewhere in the middle that we can meet in terms of displays, in terms of safe pyrotechnic areas, and this, etc., all this kind of thing. There is stuff that could be done, and I just don't think the battling at this point is any good. Ross, what's your take on it all? I know you're the young gun, mate. You're the young gun of the podcast, but and obviously, sorry, Chris, I know we've kind of glossed over your question a little bit, but anything to do with the 49ers. I wouldn't go so far to think that it's going to jeopardise any sort of takeover, but it's not going to do it any good, is it? Do you know what I mean? You've got to look at it in that way. I think it's already it's too far in motion for it to stop, as far as I'm led to believe anyway, by the different reports and whatever else that you hear from elsewhere. I think it's too far gone for that, but it doesn't help matters, does it, Ross?
No, it doesn't. I'll be honest in saying I really like speaking about the whole politics outside of football. I'm very very much a layman's fan, in which I'd like to see my team score a few goals and not concede many. That's kind of my I'll go home a happy guy. Obviously, there's nothing wrong with people express themselves being who they want to be. Of course, I don't know if a football stadium's the right place to do it. And obviously people have that opinion on that. I think it's definitely, there's a lot of the kind of, if you look at the sentiment online, folk aren't too happy with it. So I can take this as a learning curve that, politics, just keep it away from Ibrox just now, because it is gonna cost us, and it has cost us. So yeah, as much as in terms of the whole, the fan closures, that would be a complete sucker punch for, especially these European games. Especially when even things like in the second half for a lot of European games, we're usually shooting up the Copeland end. So, if you're trailing a game, it's late on, you've got no fans up that side. So there's so many wee things that are gonna, make a wee impact. So ideally, this is the just kind of the warning. Well, the warning with repercussions, obviously, but let's just learn from it, and let's hopefully not do it again. But I do think that the 49ers, as you say, that's underway, and until something Rangers happens, let's just say I think it's gonna happen. It'll take an absolute blunder for it not to. So, but yeah, I'm odd. I can't think about USA because I'll start smiling. But yeah, it's that's some exciting news to come. More of that would be brilliant. But yeah, for the banners, let's keep it at some humble songs just now. Let's just keep humble songs.
Yeah, and I've seen Margie. I've seen you saying it still started with taking the knee. To be completely fair on the side of this, I think the club have made wrong decisions about certain things that they've done. I think the UB have as well, but it doesn't matter just because they've done something that you think you can then go and do it. Because it's now harming the club. It's not a case of just because they've done it and we're going to do that, have our voice, our opinion, etc. It's now damaging the club. It's now damaging fans. It's now damaging the support, and that's when it doesn't really matter at that point for me. It's like, well, it's irrelevant what you think's right and what's wrong. Just stop it. You just have to stop it now. And people can call me woke or like whatever they like. I'm not really bothered. But at the end of the day, I only care about one thing, and it's about Ibrox been absolutely rocking for European nights. I am there to watch a football. I am not there to put across my political agenda. I am not there for any other reason apart from supporting Rangers and to watch them win football games. If it is what you want to do, there's places you can go and do that. I mean, I've said it before. Social media is a big bad world. You can go and say whatever you like on social media, and nobody's going to bat an eyelid, and you'll probably get more bites by people if you go and do it on social media. But I just think for the warning shots that have been absolutely fired by UEFA, it's time for everybody just to go, right, we'll park that. We're not going to do that anymore, and let's just move on. Let's move on and support the team and not get brought into this tit for tat, he said, she said stuff, because ultimately it's just going to lead, and us not being able to go and support Rangers, and I don't think anybody wants that. It's really as simple as about that. It's all about Rangers, and it always will be. That's me personally. Well, I know it's for the same for the other two guys as well. I'm not speaking on their behalf, but I know it is for the other two. So yeah, it was just it's all about. I never really want to get into it too much because I don't sit on either side of the fence because I'm not interested. I'm just not interested. I just want to watch Rangers, and I don't want ever to not be able to go watch Rangers because somebody held up a banner. Let's not do that, Rangers. Let's not do that, Rangers fans. Let's just go on with it. Has there any more questions been in recently? Yeah, I see Blue Nose John saying that there's been a few naughty songs. Yes, there has, and that's another thing that we're always going to get labelled as well. It's going to happen continuously. I think it's time to toe the line, whether we like it or not. It's UEFA's FITBA, and if they want to go home with it and not let us play anymore, then they will. It's as simple as that. Do I think they're fair? No, I think they're a bunch of corrupt so-and-sos. I really do, if I'm being personally honest, but there's nothing you can do about it. We want to play in Europe, so you have to adhere to their rules. It is as simple as that. Ross, I'll come back to you about we will speak about the Old Firm. I thought it was a wee bit rich today of Mr. Brendan Rodgers to say that it was a lack of respect, and that he wouldn't want his players doing it in terms of Watergate, instead of Cerny squirting the water bottle all over fans, which I still find hilarious. I really do. It's a bit rich coming from a guy that won't even call us Rangers, isn't it?
Oh, jinx! I know it's. I was almost glad that I wasn't on to speak about that, because it was so much just unnecessary drama. I think Barry Ferguson put it quite well. He wants his players to celebrate. I know that. Don't get me wrong. There's maybe Barry Ferguson had a chat with Cerny. Yes, there's maybe somebody maybe say he shouldn't have done it, but the extent that it's went to is just. It's not for me. It's not for me. So I guess fully expect to get it back whenever when they come to with Ibrox. That's all right. That's we can always expect that in a way. I found it remarkable the amount of, I don't know if it's finished actually, the auction for Cerny's shirt after the game. It was in like the 20 grands that people are trying to get their match worn shirt. It's absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
So it's a Cerny will become a cult hero for that. We'll say that if he doesn't come back, he'll be. You need to get a wee pitch up on the wall from Scott, mate, because he belongs up there. That's for sure. But yeah, it's with. In terms of, I'll be honest and say I didn't listen. I saw the headline with Brendan Rodgers. They've had moments in the past. You look at your Lee Griffiths with the whole corner flag. It's tit for tat. It is. And if they want to, make comments like that, then fair play. We'll keep playing the football. So yeah, it's. I won't lie in saying that I still watch the video quite frequently and I still smile at it. So we will watch that continuously until another moment comes about. But Cerny is a guy who he's probably put himself. I don't know. You lads feel like for Cerny, obviously the kind of price was around 5.5-6 million. Do you think we can?
I think that's been poo-pooed. I do. I don't
really?
think that was true. I think that was ran by I think it was a Daily Record. I think it might have been a Daily Record, but I don't think it's actually true.
Aye, because I was basically over obviously the international break. He's picking up another goal. Do you think we can afford a Cerny? Do you reckon that his price is as high? That obviously I know his agents came out and said that he wants to play in those top 5 leagues, but like, where would you last sit? Like, do you actually think that we can afford a Cerny just now?
I was actually about to pass that to Alistair. I realise you've not said anything a wee bit, mate. Sorry. You can tell we're rusty and we've not been on for a couple of weeks. What I think it's interesting about Cerny, I think the rumours are that he said that he'd be quite happy to stay at Rangers. What kind of price tag would you be looking at for him? There's no doubt about it. He's became get the ball to Cerny a little bit and hope he does something. So what do you think with Cerny? Does it all depend on who the manager's going to be and what the budget, takeover, etc.? Is there too many mitigating factors behind that before we could make a real decision on him?
Yeah, well, it depends ultimately on who the next Rangers manager is on a full-time basis, but we will have money to spend in the summer. There's no doubt about that. If we've been taken over by report at the end of May, we will have money. Rangers will have a good amount of money to spend in the summer. I'm not saying Rangers are going to have mega money to spend because they can't, but I think they'll have more money than what they've had in quite a few seasons to spend. And there's a lot of areas of the park that we need players for those positions. And the right-hand side is one where Cerny is there. So, yeah, I mean, I know you've poo-pooed it, Carney, but that kind of figure of 5.56, if that is the figure banded about, he's a decent age, Cerny as well. His numbers don't lie this season. We've been crying out for guys that play wide right, wide left to contribute goal-wise, assist-wise. He's done it. He's one of the guys, as you say, that we give especially this season, that we've gave the ball to, and let's hope he does something. I'm hoping next season we will have about 3, 4, 5 players that will do that as well, not just him. So, yeah, we've kind of swung back and forth with Cerny this season, but he's started to motor on the tail end of the season now. I think he gets it. Obviously, he's won a few Rangers supporters' hearts with what he did to them over there, which was fantastic. I know you touched on Brendan Rodgers. I was delighted to see that he was upset about it today. He talks about disrespect coming from him, who I thought was extremely disrespectful to Barry Ferguson before we played Celtic. So I was delighted to see that in terms of Brendan Rodgers. But yeah, he's one that I think whoever the new Rangers new manager is, if it is Barry Ferguson or if it is a new guy coming in, I think if it's a guy from the outside, I think I'll be watching right now, and he'll be a player that'll be going, I want him. But then it goes down to wages, Carney, as well. We'll have a ceiling in terms of what we can pay in wages. Cerny could go to throw a league out there, Spain or somewhere, and he will get 40, 50 grand a year from some club there. So it's up to Cerny what he wants. But he's at Rangers, a big club. potential to win trophies in Europe as well. We're in the quarterfinals, Europa League as well. He's playing well for his national team as well. So it's all there. It's all there for him. But yeah, it'll be interesting this summer. And Jimmy Rowbottom is back again.
Jimmy. Hi,
Where
Jimmy.
are you in the world, Jimmy? I need to know because you didn't tell me last time. But much appreciated, Jimmy. But maybe
Thanks,
Jimmy
Jimmy.
could buy him for us. But it's a big call in the summer. But I would, if I had the option to keep Cerny and it was $6 million and he was in the wage brackets, I'd take him next season because he's shown this season that he can contribute.
Yeah, and he's a player that can have proved me wrong, I think. At points I was going, oh my goodness, like what is he? Like what have we signed? Because he went through it. He really struggled at first to get his kind
similar to Seema Carney as well. Remember when Seema came in?
Yeah, it's a fair point, mate. And then he was fantastic, mate. There's no doubt about that. He motored on for sure. But yeah, Cerny, it's a difficult one. I think the only thing he lacks is just that wee extra yard of pace, just that wee bit more. And you've got to also look at, and it's very boring, I do understand that, but resale value in terms of you putting $6 million into him, are you going to get that back? Probably not, due to the age that he is, but is he going to contribute enough to be able to win us trophies on the evidence of things we've seen from him so far in the form that he's finding? Then probably yes. I mean, his aim with a water bottle was second to none. It really is. So it's a difficult one. It's a difficult one to fully answer, I think, about Cerny. $6 million is a lot of money. Remember, we put $4.5 million sitting on Cortez too, who's yet to really kick a ball for Rangers. So all the things need to be taken into consideration, I suppose. But again, not sure. Thank you, Jimmy. Ross, would you keep Cerny?
You know, if you asked me this a few months ago, I would have said no, to be honest, because I do agree. There's maybe a few wee elements to his game. Like, I do think that sometimes you can see quite obviously he's going to cut in his left. He's very confident his left. He has been getting better on his right foot, but a few months ago I would have said no. I think just now you'd probably go yes, and I think probably, I'll be honest, I could see Cerny wanting to stay. I do genuinely think that Cerny could look at Rangers as an attractive option for next season. Obviously, it's a good point mentioning, obviously, Seema, he's out in France just now. He's scoring goals in the Champions League. Even look at like Malik Tillman, he's well and truly on his way. So is this, will we look back at this as another loan signing? You know, is it, you know, could it, what could have been? And it's been quite a few seasons now with the likes of a Tillman and a Seema that Rangers has just been the kind of the stopgap for them, you know, to get them minutes. Can they actually, you know, bring some value back to us, if you know what I mean? Like, can we actually, you know, take that loan signing and use it for our own benefit? So I think Ferguson's made it very clear that he's a big fan of him. He likes his off the ball work and he'd like him to stay. But again, as the comments mentioned, quite rightly so, Ferguson might not be the next manager. It's quite unlikely. So it's very much down to circumstances, but I'd probably take him just now. He is contributing, and you know, I can't not. Whenever he's producing the numbers it is, it's kind of difficult to think otherwise, especially when, you know, at times we do struggle for goals, especially out wide. It's very sometimes relying on a certain Moroccan to put them in the back of the net, or a D9. Don't get me wrong, but I'd be taking Cerny just now. But yeah, there's surely like Nerf or somebody eyeing up a sponsor for him, somebody that can get a water gun sponsor. You're missing that. You're missing a gun there, and nobody's doing that just now.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I would agree. The Cerny Soca 3000 should be in production, I would imagine, because they would make a fortune. Make it blue, make it white, and make the handle red, and I'm sure everybody will buy it. That's for absolute sure. But as I say, it's an interesting one with them, because I say everything right now in terms of Rangers, in terms of going forward, is a bit up in the air because we don't know who the new manager is going to be. We don't know the structure of the club. We don't know the finances involved. We don't know their full plans in terms of the takeover. So everything, I think, will be a wee bit up in the air. Ali, regarding, I don't think I've seen. There's no other questions coming in. Is there? Have I missed any? I've been trying to keep up. I'm trying to keep up. Sorry, this is really professional. I do get that, everybody.
No, I don't think it was.
No, I don't think there was. In terms of the takeover, though, look, I think there's every chance it is going to be completed now, but by the end of the season. And we've spoke a wee bit about Ferguson and about the kind of reaction he's got from the players, but he's now getting plaudits from players that used to play with him, pundits, etc., all about him putting his name in his hat. Name in the hat for it. I don't think we can get away from that. Barry Ferguson will want this job, right? Whether he wants to come out and admit it or not, I think Barry Ferguson would definitely want the job. There is, but the only thing that the longer I've been thinking about it, and I've said before, Barry is a kind of blueprint for all the traits, all the kind of mannerisms of him, the way he speaks, the way he feels about the club. For that, he's perfect. But we've not seen him in a transfer window. We've not seen him. We've not seen him at a level where he had a significant amount of money to spend in a transfer window. I know it's not solely up to him. I get that. Yada yada. I know Niles Coppen's got a big part to play in it. My question, I suppose, is, mate, is the 49ers group going to take the risk on Ferguson, or will it be, no, I'm sorry, Barry, but we are going to need an established manager here because of where they need to get the club to in order for us to be a profitable business for them?
It's difficult because we don't know what these guys are thinking. Obviously, these guys want Rangers to be a success, so ultimately they make money because that's what they're here for, to make money out of Rangers. I don't know. He's doing everything right at the moment, Ferguson, in terms of getting us into the last 16. He's beat Celtic at Parkhead. I know the Motherwell game's only kind of real black mark on his name, but he was only just in the door, let's be honest about it. He's getting a tune out of these players. Is it the new manager bounce? Because we look back to Michael Beale coming in, you look back to Philip Clement coming in, they all got a bounce and went on 18, 20 game runs. I don't know. He's got similarities to, and I think we talked about it last time, to Gerrard, in terms of Gerrard came in, no managerial experience, a bit of an aura about him, played the game to the highest level. Ferguson's done that. I know he did it mainly in Scotland, but he went down to the Premiership at Blackburn. I think he won the League Cup with Blackburn down there as well, or Birmingham, whatever it was. It was one of them down there. But he's got similarities to that. He talks well. He looks good in the Rangers suit as well, as I say, Carney. As Rangers fans, and I've talked about it, you want to romanticise, he's the guy you would love to lead Rangers into next season to win the title. What a story it would be. But you just don't know what these guys are thinking coming in, Carney. Do they want to come in with a bang and go, this is the new Rangers manager, and we're all turning each other going, Christ, how did we get that guy? In terms of a guy with big experience, maybe a big name. So I don't know. At the moment, he's doing everything right. And for me, I know we talked about it, but he will be talked about. He has to be talked about at the moment. But he has to go and win pretty much all the games at the end of the season, Carney, and hopefully get us past Bilbao or whatever it is. That's what he's got to do. And he has to beat Celtic in the last Old Firm too. So it's down to Barry Ferguson. So far, he's doing it all right. But we don't know what these guys are thinking because we don't know who they are deep down. Yeah. So it's difficult.
Yeah, obviously there's been various podcasts with different people that are trying to give an insight, but right now the investors are not actually going to release a comment. They're not going to get in front of a camera. They're not going to sit down and say anything until everything is signed, sealed and delivered before they can actually come out and say, right, this is what we're going to do. This is who I am. This is what I'm all about. And there's been various profiles done on various figureheads, if you like, of the consortium, but it's not the same as hearing it from the horse's mouth, I don't think. Ross, for you, is it as ludicrous as the only realistic chance probably that Ferguson's got to win the Europa League? And I'm not saying the Rangers are going to win the Europa League, but I mean, if he went and won the Europa League with Niles Coppen and the rest of the staff behind him in terms of transfers and whatever else, then you would no matter the experience of Barry Ferguson or not, it would be remiss not to think, if he goes on a decent run, gets us through the next round of the Europa League, as Ali mentioned, the Old Firm games, wins them, does he put himself in the window? Does he have to be considered for that? Like, would it be almost disrespectful to him not to be kind of be considered? But again, there's so many hypotheticals within the whole decision maker, I think.
It is. I think your last point there, it would probably be a bit disrespectful to not give him at least the interview. He'll be wanting the Rangers job. As any Rangers fan, any Rangers, Jimmy, thank you so much. Thank you very much. That's ridiculous.
You like Jimmy, honestly.
It's just for a wee golfing trip, Jimmy.
Just a wee golfing trip. Well done, mate. Fantastic. I hope you're enjoying it.
No, thank you. That's brilliant.
Cheers.
Yeah, I think. Don't get me wrong. I think the Europa League. I'm not going to say we're going to win it, but that's immortality stuff. If you pick up that trophy. So even if he gets us into the semi-final, if he beats Celtic in the next game at Ibrox, and wins all his games, he'll be right up there. He'll be right up there. And like obviously fans will, if it comes back to bite us, it'll be an easy, he should have stuck with it. But you almost need to just put full trust in these investors to, if they believe Bai's a guy, then yeah, that's brilliant. But if they genuinely see, with their experience, that there's a guy out there that will, bring success to Rangers, then I think you just need to go with that. Because ultimately that's where the money's going to come from. So they're probably going to have a hefty say in it. So I'd love to see Ferguson stay. I would. I think just now he can't do much wrong other than that Motherwell game. He's been outstanding. Obviously, the last 4 games, ultimately he's had 2 losses, 2 wins. With that Fenerbahce game, but
He's still not won a game at Ibrox either.
Correct, I know. Yeah,
technically won a game at Ibrox.
So it is. He's this upcoming Hibs game is massive for him. To get that first home win, but it is exciting. It's a good situation to be in. If Ferguson wasn't doing well and it's just all doom and gloom, we'd be absolutely we'll be miserous. So I think just enjoy the kind of the good headache while it lasts, because it means that we're doing good things in the pitch. But yeah, if a Rafa Benitez comes calling or whatever, then there'll be a serious conversation. But for now, it's Barry for the Europa League.
Yeah, for sure. It's just I think it will run on and on and on until the decision is actually made. I think he'll be constantly asked about it in press conferences, like he has been as well. So, but it's an interesting one. I think everybody would love the idea of Barry Ferguson, as Ali said, to come, get the job full term, and to win the league next season would just be. I mean, it's Hollywood stuff. It really is. It would just be absolutely fantastic, and it would destroy them even more than a water bottle could. So it would be great. I'll answer this question for about the 450 millionth time, I think. Scotia got a new job ultimately, and he couldn't commit to the podcast anymore. There's nothing more that I can say about that. I've said it a million times. We still see Scotia. We still go to the games with Scotia. I still go for a pint with Scotia. There's nothing untoward about it. It's as simple as that. So I hope finally. Scotia's not been on this pod for about 2 years. And there's still people wondering where he is. So trust me, Scotia is absolutely fine. He's still our pal, he's still our buddy, still go see him every time we go to Ibrox. So yeah, Scotia's got a new job. It's really as simple as that. Is there any more? Have I missed any? Have you been keeping your eye out, Alistair, while I've been talking? I don't think there has been.
I was gonna mention that you were on about Cerny with his Super Soaker upsetting people. Scott Arfield was at Nathan Evans was playing at the Barrowlands the other night, and Scott Arfield jumped onto the stage with a Super Soaker and sucked the crowd.
Oh my lord!
Go on Twitter, you'll see it. Brilliant.
Oh, brilliant.
It would have been even better if he had a Cerny jersey on.
Yeah, that would have been good, to be fair.
He paid the 30 grand for it.
Yeah, he paid for it. Yeah, it was his. Yeah, a signed Cerny shirt would have been brilliant. Yeah, that'd have been absolutely great. That's funny. That's very funny. Guys, but what about the new Murray book coming out? And we're going to wait for somebody else to I'm going to wait for somebody else to read it and tell me all about it, the David Murray. But David Murray's look, it's a whole can of worms, that it really is. You could go down all sorts of avenues with Murray. Ultimately, he gave me some of the best days that I've ever had as a Rangers fan. Like, there's absolutely no doubt, seen players I couldn't believe seeing, but ultimately he's the guy that's responsible for the state that we ended up in. So, yeah, again, you can't really hold him in too high a regard. I think that's probably the way that I go along with. That's kind of my opinion. So I'll wait for that to come out.
That'll be a good read, though. I think that'll be a good read of everybody.
You think so? Blue Nose John is Jamie no longer on the pod, Scott. Jamie's not either, no. Again, I did say that. Jamie, again, work stuff. Jamie is a very talented man. He colours in for a living, and he's got a lot on his plate. So Jamie's concentrating on that. Again, no fallout, no nothing. We've never fallout with anybody that's not on the pod anymore. Genuinely, it's just one of those things.
Just create a room, and just say, "Aye, we all fell with each other."
Yeah, Scotia murdered my dog, and he buried it in his back garden. So I chucked him from the podcast. Jamie took a pee on my front door one night when he was annoyed that he wasn't on a pod one night. And again, I've never forgave him for it. So I don't even talk to him anymore. So yeah.
If you want to come and see Scotia, we're going to the Hibs game next Saturday. He will be at the Viceroy with us before it, guaranteed.
Yes. He will be there.
Yes, 100%.
100% he will be there, though. Like 100% he will be. Jim Sloan, 31 months. 31 months, Jim. That's incredible.
Unlucky for you.
That is absolutely incredible. It really is. I'm sorry. We'll briefly touch it. Jenk, do you think it would be an interesting read with David Murray? Ross, again, you're too young.
Yes. I would lie. I will leave this to you, lads. I'll leave this to you.
He had a famous statement, and along the lines of this, when Rangers and Celtic obviously were going for the telly, his famous kind of statement he came out was, "For every £5 they spend, I'll spend a tenner."
Yeah,
that's what he spent. Look what it got us.
Corrupt as fuck.
It did bring, as in me and Carney grew up in that 9-in-a-row era, and he did bring us that. Obviously, he brought some blockbuster names to Rangers as well. Spent a lot of money.
Also spent £12 million on Torrey Andrew Flo, which was a disaster.
Sold us to Craig White as well. So
for a quid, for a quid.
So I think it'll be a very interesting read.
I think it will be as well, but again, it's not. I don't give him. It's hard to explain. Don't give him plaudits or anything like that for what he done, because ultimately he let happen to the club what happened. So it's a difficult one. Yes, I mean I'm obviously very grateful the fact that I got to see Laudrup, Gaza, De Boer. Do you know what I mean? Unbelievable players playing for the club, but ultimately he made the decisions to drive us into the ground. He made the decision to give the club to Craig White. That was his decision to do that. He wasn't duped by Craig White. I don't believe that for a second. David Murray was a shrewd businessman. He knew exactly what he was doing. There was no doubt he just did not want to be the fall guy when the hammer fell that Rangers were in the state that we were in. So yeah, it'll be an interesting read. I'll wait for one of you to buy it and I'll borrow it off you, but I'm not buying it because I don't want to give him any more money, because I gave him enough in my youth, so I don't want to be giving him any more than that. You found out Scotia was Murray's love child. Who's Murray? I don't know who Murray is.
Who's Murray?
I don't know who Murray is. Oh, David Murray. Oh, it must be David Murray. God's sake, Scott, get a grip of yourself. None of you's even got that as well. And Chris has said, depending on Murray telling the truth, Murray will not tell the truth. Come on, he will not tell the truth. That's absolutely for sure. There's no doubt about that. We'll move on to the preview of the Dundee game. Obviously, we are back in action tomorrow night as we travel to Dens Park to take on Dundee. A 5:30 kickoff on Premier Sports, Sky Sports. Is it Premier? Sky Sports. Aye, because the FA Cup's on, innit? So yes, we'll be taking on them there. I've not Google to see how Dundee are doing in the league. Did anybody do this previously?
They've not been doing great, Carney, but they beat Dundee United the same day.
That's right. They did. I was out with a guy, believe it or not. I was out with a guy that supports Dundee, who doesn't really like Rangers, believe it or not. And yeah, I was out with him on Monday.
What does he think about Lyle Cameron, Carney?
We didn't talk about him, mate. Actually, we didn't actually get to the point of speaking about him. No, we didn't get to the point of speaking about him. He's parting words, but I hope you get pumped on Saturday, though. So I was like, oh, thanks very much, mate. But yeah, they're sitting 11th right now. Not in a great run of form, but obviously they are off the back of their derby win against Dundee United. At the press conference, Barry Ferguson had very little to say regarding the team. He's keeping his cards close to his chest, kind of thing, not as open book as what Clement was, I suppose. No 7 to 10 days quoted either, which is always refreshing to hear as a Rangers manager in terms of players being out. Do you prefer him not saying a lot? Do you prefer for him to keep everybody guessing? Do you mind that you don't know who's fit and who isn't fit?
I don't mind him doing that, to be honest, because you kind of know who's available, let's be honest about it. If there was a big injury, I think it would come out. This Pamela there, I hope she's not in her bath watching us tonight, Calvin. That's what she usually is.
Oh, she if she comes back to the pub, she'll kill you for that.
Poor Ross doesn't know about that. But aye, what we talking about? What we talking about? Barry, in terms of not letting stuff out in the press conferences, I've had a lot of managers do that. To be fair, he's worked in the media for quite a while, Barry Ferguson, and he probably knows all these clowns that come in and ask stupid questions. So he's getting his own back in quite a few of them. So I don't mind him doing it. I think he answers the questions quite well, keeps his cards close to his chest as well. So I don't mind it. It'd be good if he could secretly text us who's available, etc., so we all know his bad. But sometimes I actually quite like when it comes to 1:45 or whatever it is, 2:00 on a Saturday, that we don't actually know who's playing, and it's a bit of let's see who's playing. But I'm pretty sure it'll be a very, very similar team to what played Celtic, or I'd imagine it'll be somewhere along the lines of that.
Yeah, I would imagine so as well. Andrew Muir, a member for 24 months. My goodness, man. 2 years. 2 years of us. 2 years of us. Unbelievable. Excuse me, I've got a frog in my throat. I'll take a sip of water. Ross, what are you expecting ahead of the Dundee game? Do you think Ferguson's going to make any kind of wholesale changes? Do you think he's going to continue on with a formula that's been working? I think the argument against that would be it was against Fenerbahce and Celtic. So how do you think he'll approach it? Slightly more attacking or more of the kind of shame containing and hopefully catch on break kind of stuff? I know that's much more complicated than that, but again, I'm a layman's football fan. So what do you expect from the game tomorrow?
I'm not too sure. I think he said in his press conference there's one or two who, obviously he's kept the cards with the chest, there's one or two who may not be available. So who that is, I don't know. I don't know indeed, but it's probably his first really chance to probably break this low block, especially when you're away from home against a Dundee. They could come out firing. Obviously, that game won each up there. They scored quite early on. It was Cerny scored that day, but I mean that was a fairly cagey game. So I probably don't expect much dissimilar to that on Saturday. Dundee, I think they hadn't won a game since that most recent game, the derby, since they played us. So they've not been in great form. I do generally think though that Rangers, obviously we know what's happened this season, but they can almost come out with a bit of a new identity after the last few games. They've written a lot of the wrongs for us fans. You know, they can do it in the big occasion. I reckon there's probably a few players there who have got a bit of a taste going, right, this is what Ferguson wants, this is what we can do, this is how the fans can feel, let's go and keep that going. That's a shocking start, by the way. For the last 10 visits,
brought me down to earth with a slap there. We're singing the blues. From our last 10 visits to Dens, we have a 50% win rate. Oh, spiffing.
That is, and I remember there was I think it was Dundee away that a Goldson got a late winner there, so that could have been even less. That's that's a baffling start. Thank you for that one. That's it's me sleepless nights for this evening. But it should be at the end of the day, a team like Dundee away, we should be taken care of. We have the quality there. Again, we'll see who he's referring to. The two players being out, but there was no players on internationals that got injured that I can think of. So let's hope that it's nothing too bad, and that we can come out the traps and not conceding the first thing. It was the 6 minutes. Like their striker, I remember the score that day. They have got some decent players in their team, Dundee, but again, we have quality there to be beating a Dundee. So I hope that they go and show it tomorrow.
Ali, that is one thing, and sorry to be the usual tone on this podcast to go and say we have conceded quite a bit of goals since Barry took over. We have had a bit of a leaky defence. Yes, I understand who we were playing. Don't get me wrong, but there has been times where the defence has looked rather shaky, rather all over the place. But in terms of how the approach that he's going to take going forward, do you expect more of the same? Do you think he'll keep kind of true to his word and kind of change things up where he needs to, horses for courses kind of thing? What do you expect from the game tomorrow?
Yeah, I think he'll change formation slightly. I don't think he'll play with 3 centre halves. I think he'll probably go back to a 4 against Dundee. We'll have most of the ball. I'm hoping and expecting Rangers to come out of the traps for minute 1. How many times away from home have we seen Rangers in the first half do absolutely nothing, find ourselves a goal down and it's too late? He kind of addressed that in his press conference, saying the Rangers away record's not been good enough this season. And that's not a Rangers team is or should be. So I think he'll have them fired up. He's got a platform to build on in terms of the Fenerbahce result, the Celtic result, and he'll be saying to them, let's kick on because we've got big games coming up. Obviously, Bilbao's very, very close. It's round the corner. These guys are playing for a jersey for that game. So, yeah, I think he'll have them fired up. He's also had, which we've not talked about, I know he let a few of them go on holiday after the Celtic game. He let them have a wee break. I know there was some boys on international duty, but it's the first time he's really had a good week with them on the training park. The majority of them, I know there's been a few of them away, your Cerny's, your Raskins, etc., but a lot of them have been at Auchenhowie, so he's had time to work with these guys. So I'm expecting Rangers to come out of the traps for minute 1, as they did against Celtic, and take it to Dundee and beating Dundee convincingly, because that's how it should be. No disrespect to Dundee, but we should be going to Dens and convincingly beating them and coming down the road with 3 points. That's what I'm expecting Saturday.
At this stage of the season, on league standings alone, mate, yes, I 100% agree. That's exactly what should be happening. Rangers should be going there full of confidence, knowing that they can go implement their game on to Dundee and to win that game comfortably. I don't think there's any real doubt for me about that. Before I come on to teams and scores, Ross, I just quickly want to talk about Nico Raskin, because I forgot to do it earlier on. The boy goes and gets his debut for Belgium, and gets a man of the match for their turnaround of their tie that they had. He's really grown now. I don't think many of us would really have been looking at him as being a contender for maybe player of the season at the start of this year, but plaudits have to go for the way he's responded, I think. I think even under Clement at times he was still, even though I think he was left slightly isolated at times, he was still probably one of our better performers under Clement. But since Barry came in, there is no doubt that Ferguson's took him under his wing and he's went, right, this is what you need to be doing and this is how you're going to do it. And to go away in international duty, put in the performance and that he did, he fits perfectly right now into the trading model that we need to be doing. And I know it's unfortunate for us as fans, because we would hate to see a player of his calibre go if he continues on the kind of upward curve that he's on. But full plaudits to Raskin. He's really beginning to impress now.
Oh, he is. He's outstanding. He's a player who I'd love to see in a Rangers shirt next season. I would absolutely love to see a Rangers shirt. But you're right. See, when players at their peak, we look back at it and go, if we sold them then, we obviously had it with Butland recently. You look at the fees that Abassi went for, etc. I do think there's two sides to it. He goes and we make our money, or I think he takes the captain's armband next season. I genuinely think that next season could be his captain's season if Tav was to leave in the summer. So I reckon Nico Raskin loves the club. I think the kind of frequency of his posting on social media recently kind of told me that he absolutely loves every single bit of it. And I do genuinely think that captain's armband would be a big motivator for him. But I do understand that if a Chelsea came calling, if I don't know, Inter Milan came calling, like a big club that he could fit into in that kind of that position, he'd be taking that. I do think he'd be taking that. We do know that Rangers is unfortunately a bit of a stopgap for players like that. So if he does stay, brilliant. But let's at least give him a decent contract so that if he does stay and he does do well, that we're not selling for pennies. The one bit that's going about is that whenever he was at Liège, he let his contract run out. That's how we got him for so cheap. So if we are going to sign him, good, but just give him a Haaland 10-year deal. Let's get it done. Let's get it done. We've got this money. Let's spend it in Nico.
Yeah, I agree. I do, Ali. I think it's credit to him because we spoke about him many a time, mate. When he was kind of struggling for form at Rangers, we did have various chats about Raskin, but his turnaround's been pretty miraculous, and I think it's more so that it kind of proves that we need to be patient sometimes. And I know we're not patient, and I do understand that we are not patient, but he's got to the point where he's probably the first name on the team sheet right now, and I think that's credit to him. Ross is spot on correct as well. Get him tied up, keep him for another year. If James Tavernier tends to move over, give him a captain's armband. He could have a stormer, mate, and then you're going to probably have Premier League, if not at least one of the top 5 clubs in Europe will be asking the question about him, and then you're talking the kind of the money that we're looking to bring in for players.
Yeah, I would have punted him in the summer because he was a bit part player at Rangers. We been playing, to be honest. And then even under Clement, you thought the connection Belgium, and you thought he might start under Clement. Didn't really. He was a bit part player again, but he's the first player on the team sheet. He looks a completely different player to me. Bosses in midfield, strong as well. Wins balls back. I mean, the game against Celtic, I thought he was outstanding in the middle of the park. He's got his big chance with Belgium. Very good team as well in terms of the players they have. Played, obviously, I think he came on for 10 minutes or so in their first game, and then he started the other game against, was it Ukraine? And they ultimately ended up winning that game and progressing, whatever it was in that Nations League that Scotia still tries to explain to me, but I can't get my head around. But
I think you get 85 chances to make whatever the major tournament is after that. As far as I'm aware, Scotland get about 85 chances to do it. Steve Clarke will still make a mess of it because he's an idiot.
Yeah, I think they went down a league, Scotland. I don't know. Anyway, but he did fantastic for Belgium that night, and he was taken off a couple of minutes to go for a round of applause, and he got man of the match. And that's what we want. We want these players, and even players looking at potentially joining Rangers next season will look at that and go, there's Rangers. I know they're playing in Scotland, but there's players like Nico Raskin getting called up to the Belgian national team.
Absolutely.
So there's a platform to get to still play for your national team. So
it's not as if Belgium, no disrespect to other teams, but Belgium's they're a serious team in the international scene. I mean, De Bruyne plays for them. Do you know what I mean? Like, obviously, there's many more, but De Bruyne is one of the best midfielders I've ever seen in my life. Yeah. And he's playing with them. And then Raskin showed him up. So there you go. Just pumping Raskin's wage, asking price up here a little bit.
Yeah, no, they've got fantastic players, and that's what he's doing. He's putting his value up now, which is what we want. Ultimately, he will leave Rangers. I know as Rangers fans, you don't want these players to leave, but he will have to leave. He will get to a point that someone will come in and go, there's the money you went for him, and he will go, along with all these other players we're bringing in and you want to punt. So he needs to continually do it. I heard Barry Ferguson talk about in terms of, it's good that he got his debut and get man of the match, but he can't stop at that. He needs to go and get 50, 60, 70 caps, and he needs to do it ultimately at Rangers to get in the Belgium side. So that's the level he needs to be at, Nico Raskin, if he wants to move to a bigger league. And I think he can. I think he's got the attitude for it. And Ross is potentially right. He could be a future Rangers captain next season. I think we'll be looking for a new captain next season. So I'm delighted for him because he's the type of player we need in the midfield. And I would like him there next season. But I have a fear somebody will come sniffing in the summer. I think somebody will test us.
Depending on how he performs how Rangers perform as well in the next stage of the Europa League. I think if we were managed to get through that round and Raskin's a standout, I think it'd be difficult to think that somebody's not going to come test the water with a bit of an offer. And we're a selling club. It's just unfortunately where we play football, and it's always going to be the case. Right, we'll finish with teams and scores for tomorrow. Alistair, you can go first.
I think he'll change it a wee bit. Butland, I think he'll go to a back four, but it wouldn't shock me if he stayed with the kind of back five. I'm going to say a back four. Tav, Suter, I know we played 2 games for Scotland, but Suter, Balogun, Propers, I don't want Proper in the team. Yilmaz, for me, keeps left-hand slot.
So far, same as I would have picked, to be fair. That's the back five I'd pick.
I've seen people Raskin. No, Raskin comes in for me again. First name in the team sheet. Raskin, Barron, I think complements him well. Diomande just in front. Cerny on the right.
I think it's crucial to keep the 3 midfielders as well playing together because it's working. I agree.
Cerny on the right. Maybe a curveball on the left. I'm bringing Hadji back in on the left, and I'm going to give Igaman a start after his goal through the middle. So that's my team. And I'm going to go 3-0 Rangers. Cerny first goal scorer.
I was kind of humming and hawing about this, and I don't know if it's going to be kind of a kind of standard 4-3 or 4-2-3-1 kind of thing. I think it could be a wee bit curveball with it. I think there's potential for Igaman and Dessers to start together. Igaman maybe playing a little bit to the left, Cerny playing a little bit to the right of Dessers. Hadji coming back in, I'm not 100% sure. For me, Barami, no for me. I don't want him. He's another one we need to get rid of, and sharpish, in my opinion. But I'll play Igaman, Dessers, and Cerny. But the team was exactly the same as I was going to pick. I'll go for 4-1 Rangers, and I'll go for Dessers to score first. Ross, your team?
I'm not going to be Alistair Pearson's best mate, unfortunately. I think Proper starting. I do. I think Proper starting because I know. But whenever Balogun went off in the Old Firm, I don't know if that's another Willie rest. Obviously, he has just had a bit of a rest. I love Balogun to be back in, but I do have a feeling Proper might start. And don't get me wrong, he might, do even bring back Inciala. Whenever he came on, he looked not bad at all. We do still have that.
What about Fernandez?
That's another question. Yeah, I'm not sure what's happening. I don't know if that's just a I've not heard a word from it. It'd be interesting actually if somebody in a presser could ask him where he is, because I have no idea. And it's not like we've got any cup games you can start him in. So that's a complete other rabbit hole. But I do generally think that Proper will start. And then I agree with you lads. I could potentially see Hadji starting. I think he's just off the back of 90 minutes and a goal against San Marino, don't get me wrong, but he's still kind of getting minutes. So I probably agree with you lads actually. So I'm gonna go with 3-1 Rangers. Like, unfortunately, the clean sheet, we're gonna keep the clean sheets coming, but that's just because Robin Proper's there. And first goal scorer is going to be the waterman himself, Václav Cerny, getting on the score sheet.
Yeah, singing the Blues going to be a point. Cortez might start potentially. Yeah, potentially. We're going to need to see him at some point, aren't we? Like, let's be.
He's we're going to need a Mashi Cortez.
He is, mate. Yeah, I think he might be. Yeah, Ali's already written him off. Ali's sold him already.
I called Danilo, and I called that right. I'm telling you.
Yeah, you were right, mate. To be fair, you were right about Danilo. I won't lie, mate. That was a waste. So far, it looks like a hell of a waste of money. But yeah, it'd be interesting to see if Cortez does start, and we might be a more kind of a 4-3-3 than more than a 4-2-3-1. But that'll do us for tonight. Thank you everybody for your chat. Thank you for all the donations, Jimmy especially. You're madman. Enjoy enjoy your golfing break, Jimmy. Very much appreciated. If you could like your video, subscribe to the channel, all the usual stuff, that would be great. We'll be back with a reaction tomorrow after the game. For tonight, Alistair, thank you very much.
No problem. I'm looking forward to tomorrow night, a wee 5:30 kick-off on a Saturday. I quite like that. It actually helps me because I'm working tomorrow, unfortunately, so I will get to see the game. But yes, no, thanks to big Jimmy Rowbottom as well for his 2 donations tonight, and enjoy your golf, Jimmy, and enjoy your next adventure, wherever that may be.
It could be anywhere. He's a jet setter. He's a jet setter.
Get Ryan's private jet.
As with Ryan's private jet, him and Ryan are rocking up the air miles between them. And Ross, thanks very much, mate.
Thank you very much, Jay. That was a very, very quick. I won't lie. It's been a very, very good chat there. Safe travels to anybody going up to Dundee tomorrow night. It should be a good game. We 5:30. Don't mind that at all. So yeah, back to league action before we win the Europa League. So thank you all, and we'll speak to you very, very soon.
Yeah, we'll speak to you all tomorrow after the game. Thank you everybody for tuning in. Like, video, subscribe, all the usual stuff. We are Club at 22, the Rangers podcast. Cheers, everybody.